when she pulls her phone out, I'm staring back at her, hosting a quiz.
I've got his whole medical history, so I'm tweeting. I'm going. Geordie Classy, confirmed right knee problem.
So dead. Like looking at it now, I was like, oh my god, how did I even get the job?
Welcome back to the NSFW podcast right here on Balls Up. If you're listening on the podcast app or Spotify, please do rate us 5 stars and leave a nice review. If you're watching on YouTube, why not go over and listen on the podcast app, because every little helps as well. Make sure you hit like and hit subscribe. Today, we've got Sav, we've got Horner, and we've got a very special guest. One person requested it, so we're going in. Big yourself up, my friend.
Who was it that requested it?
Oh, God.
I'll find it.
It's Zach, extremely sharp trim jalab.
It's not so sharp anymore, basically because my hair grows so quickly.
Look at this coming in here. Get the under there.
Who cut it? What happened? Where'd you get it cut? What have you been doing this week? Explain to the people. Usually how we start.
I am always a busy man. FDFC, that's kicking off.
I am always a busy man. He really said it.
Find it for me. Yes, look at the state of him. 21, he's thrown his weight around.
I'm not a good multitasker.
Explain what's happened in the last week. Where have you been? What have you been doing?
I'm taking the lead in FDFC, basically creating a lot of content for that, setting up a lot of things. Yeah, been talking with EA about a bunch of stuff. Then we went to the FIFA event last Thursday.
Yeah.
We were meant to do an interview. Unfortunately, the player didn't turn up. Won't call him out in case we ever do future work with them. But we had a good time, played the game. I am sick at FIFA 9. No.
I haven't played it yet. I haven't played it. I didn't even know FIFA 18.
The thing is, the demo isn't like the actual game.
Yeah.
The demo is not like... The guy that called me out, by the way, is Max Cherry.
There you go.
Thank you.
Max Cherry.
Max Cherry on Twitter.
Max Cherry 911.
That's the reason
The one person that said, seriously, Balls Up UK, at Balls Up UK on Twitter, if you haven't followed it already. Get Zach Jalab on the podcast ASAP.
Like that, I love that.
7 likes.
That's fair play.
So he's here.
Not bad
but yeah, thank you, Max. And I can talk the talk. Can I walk the walk is the question.
Oh!
But yeah, I went to the FIFA event. Met Akinfenwa again. Honestly.
Z Money?
Your boy?
No, pretty boy Z.
Well, I was a bit worried after the shoot that he'd be like, okay, I've become,
yeah.
But legit, he actually proper likes me. Like, we're actually decent friends.
He proper likes me.
Yeah, so he was talking to someone before, and then like he saw me, like probably like embraced me. He was like, "Oh, Zach, pretty boy."
He's a cool geezer.
He's actually a nice guy.
I saw the on someone's video. I had the first moment, and you could tell like.
He's like eyes
hyped to see him.
Yeah.
He's a really nice guy, and I had a little chat with him. He's doing well.
Shout out
good luck
Bale,
to him.
Quality.
Hopefully work with him again soon.
Yeah, man.
But yeah, in general, we're going to do some more FIFA stuff on FTFC. Basically, we've decided to take FTFC quite seriously this year.
Yeah, I mean, we've got cards arriving, haven't we?
We have. So
supposedly.
As I said, EA have done us quite a big favour, and they have basically made everyone.
Sorry, just drop that name.
Yeah,
EA's
sorry.
done us
Yeah, the head of marketing. Anyway, yeah, they basically.
Who do they think you are?
Zach Jalab, that's all they need to know.
Actually, no, I changed my, you know, the end of email. It's now presenter, producer, and editor. Ooh. Hit with the triple vibes.
Okay. Do what you want, man.
Don't use the end. Just go slash on each.
Really?
Yeah, do that. Not for a job title. Just put all 3 of a slash in between them.
Oh, really? Oh, yeah. See, but I feel like it's a full sentence.
Go on then. What's happening in the cards?
Yeah, so
it's a little bit mental in there. Don't worry about it.
My dad's selfie. But yeah, no. So EA have made FDFC. Everyone within FDFC some FIFA cards, which we're going to be reacting to. Other people have made, you know, the ratings for everyone. So I know.
That's good.
I know everyone's ratings.
Who made my ratings?
I cannot tell you until the video. I will not be giving.
All right, okay. If we're gonna make a video reacting to FDFC,
I'll tell you, I made Danny Pape's rating.
Yeah, you did.
Mad. So people don't know Danny Pape. Yeah. Legend, but
Kylian Mbappe.
I've never seen a man so good at 7-a-side football.
Yeah, quality.
He's just always in the right place and scores.
He's also the best thing about it is he's just a top bloke.
Yeah, he's a lovely guy.
Really, really good guy.
Apparently he came to my 21st. Don't remember.
Some of the photos dropped today from Zach's 21st. I can exclusively reveal them now, officially.
Oh, on the festi?
Yeah. There's only 4 of us lot, actually.
We'll try and get them up on screen for you.
They're pretty jokes. In fact, there's only really one of the boys.
Look at that.
What am I doing?
You can't show that one because the myth's in it.
We're not going to show it.
We're not showing that one, yeah.
There's everyone. You're just watching us look at photos.
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing really going on there.
I remember nothing from nothing.
We've already talked about this.
You did very well, actually. Yeah, you did do very well. It's a good week for you.
Yeah, good week in general. Keeps just busy all the time now. Talking to a lot of other guys on YouTube.
Zach is. Do you know what? Zach is
very busy.
It's wicked watching him blossom.
I feel like a lot of people at home, when they think about what we do and what Football Daily do, maybe what we should get quickly before we go on to what the other boys are doing. Like, what is your like week to week? What are you doing during the day? So for people at home who just see you on screen on like 1 or 2 videos a week, you obviously have a full-time job at Football Daily. What are you doing?
So originally, when I first joined, it was like just editing and like helping out with like writing VFN and stuff like that, writing, editing basically. And now I still do all of that along with other responsibilities of teaching other people who've just joined how to do Photoshop, how to edit, and then also FDFC now, and then sorting out other stuff with FDFC, and then also like helping other people. Because obviously sometimes that's kind of the whole thing with SD is why it got good.
Missed the step on what you first were doing though.
Oh, I did miss the old Dave Horner days.
Yeah,
Dave Horner was manager.
I used to be his boss when he first started.
Yeah,
I came over from holiday and was told that I had some little kid sitting there who's working for me now.
2 years later,
he says little.
Well, little, yeah.
I was taller than him then.
But you edit, don't you? You edit on Premiere, you use Photoshop, you use After Effects, you shoot on
When I
FS5,
considering
FS7.
when I joined and I didn't know, I'd never heard of Premiere, I'd never heard of any of the cameras.
Because you didn't go uni, did you?
I didn't go uni, yeah. Like, I would be in my final year now, be in my 3rd year of uni.
How old are you, 21?
21 now,
21.
yeah, just turned.
So when it gets to that point of the final year, we're going to give Zach a
graduation.
In-company graduation.
That's going to be sick, I can't wait for that.
Wicked.
But yeah, basically, you came in with no skills.
The thing is, a lot of people on YouTube think they just see the video and they don't realise actually what goes into it. Like, like obviously we do take it to the next. We're not just shooting like a bedroom; it's different. But like we go above and beyond. We like these scripts take us to be like written on the weekend. Like we're working outside of working hours. Yeah, we're editing till like 11 o'clock, and like there, of course, fans appreciate it. But there are sometimes when you're just like, I've been called.
Yeah. I mean, try not to swear on this because somebody has to go through and bleep it.
It's not always official, is it?
Yeah, but like it's whatever. Like there's always the thing I learned. There is a period of when I was doing it, and I remember speaking to you about this. And I was like, it's actually starting to annoy me now, where everyone's like going on at me. And then I was like, you know what? I don't care. Like I just went, I don't care anymore. Yeah. I don't care what people think. Like you're never gonna. I literally grew up like wanting to please everyone, and then like I was just like, you're never gonna please everyone on YouTube.
Yeah, that's a little.
Do whatever you want to do. Be yourself, and if people like it, people like it. If they don't, then
you have to draw the line between knowing the people whose opinion you value, and knowing someone that's just trying to get a rise out of you.
Oh yeah, 100%.
And I think a lot of Football Daily's audience say really negative stuff to try and provoke an opinion. Yeah. And then if you reply to them, or if you say, "Oh, what are you saying?" Like or have a go back, they'll be like, "Oh, only joking, like really big fan of yours."
Yeah, all the time that happens.
Whereas I think what they don't realise is they're more likely to be replied to if it's like a positive comment or like involved in conversation than something really absolute negative.
I do get tweets where it's like, "Oh, I love this. Watching this during whilst I have dinner, watching this when I was like, I really liked your opinion on this," and that's sick as well. Like, don't get me wrong. If someone was to criticise me and be like, "I don't think you did this right," or "I don't think," and actually positive criticism where there's reason behind it, I'm more than happy to accept it. But just when someone like says, "Oh, I hate you," it's like, great.
It's one of the reasons why I love the Balls Up Nation so much. Is because it's like all the comments, if they're not positive, are like they're criticising you positively, if that makes sense. It's like creative criticism.
Think about changing this.
Well, it's not even that, but when there's just a point behind it. There was someone commented 2 or 3 weeks ago, and it's something that I don't even know I'm doing. And I'm well aware of it. We talk about it all the time. But it was a podcast, and someone commented underneath it saying, "Dave, for God's sake, just let everyone else talk." And the thing is, I just replied. I was like, "I'm sorry. I have no answer because I know I do it. I'm not aware I'm doing it. I just know it's when I'm in a conversation and everyone's talking. You've got something. I'll chip in. So that's the thing is when it's like that, when it's a comment that actually has a meaning behind it, I'll hold my hands up and go, "Yeah, cool, yeah."
I think in terms of that, you're a natural storyteller though. Like you're really good at basically. That's why you're the quiz master as well. You're good at like sort of leading conversation, taking it to where it needs to be.
Zach's my work son, so he's just trying to big up his dad.
But like
that's
look,
good though,
as much as going to be hate, you deal with it.
He is one of the in terms of we'll say this from from day one. I have a similar thing with you with this as well, because obviously when I first met you, you were of an age when you were interning. But 2 people who I've seen come in at a young age to a company and just apply yourself in the right manner.
Yeah.
Be open to learn. Throw yourself in at the deep end for a lot of it, which both of you did at different things. You know, pick up as much as you can pick up. Ask questions when you don't know stuff. Don't worry about making a mistake. Everyone makes a mistake. You made a good couple of mistakes working on some videos today.
Why didn't you tell the story of how you got the job at
Oh God! So there's. Do they know the main name? Let's just say the CEO.
Let's say the
CEO. Okay, yeah. So there's our CEO.
But you can't use names because it's the story's telling, isn't it?
Yeah.
So there's our CEO here at FootballDaily, who I'd gone for a long time. I was like emailing places, being like, "Can I get like a bit of work experience? Can I do this? Can I come in, talk to you about a meeting, or whatever?" And so I emailed our CEO basically by just doing. So I realised there's a website where you can find out whether it's a legit email or not. So what I did, obviously, our handle of our email, I took that, and then I found the name of the CEO and put his first name, checked if it was a legit email, said it was, sent him an email being like, can I come in? I've got a sick idea about a channel.
It was music.
It was about a music channel. A channel that was basically happening, but I thought we could do it better. And he was just like, yeah, I love this, I love that, and threw me onto John Babb. And Babb, like, when Babb first met me, he hated me. He said he hated me, and then
the other thing is as well is just to know that the CEO that you're talking about has a habit, and me and you know this is from personal experience, of you just get given a project when you didn't even know you had nothing to do with it. So Bab walks in one day and suddenly finds out that, oh, here's Zach and he's now your responsibility.
Yeah, literally. And then so Bab, when I met Bab on the day, he was like, keep in mind, I was an 18-year-old who just had a law lesson, and our CEO, I think, thought I was like 23 and like had a full like funding behind me and everything. And Bab was like, yeah, all right, well, you're coming for a coffee and we'll talk then. And then like 1 week later, I was like texting, I was sending Bab an email like, you know, what's happening with this coffee? 2 weeks later, Bab hadn't replied. Still like, Bab, like, what's happening with this coffee?
Bab.
Obviously, we didn't call him Bab by then. And then Bab was like, I don't know if we can do anything about an actual like getting this channel running in that, which is unsurprising. It wasn't the best of ideas.
What was that?
It was essentially like getting YouTubers and music artists to come together and like make videos together, and it would sit on one platform, which is already technically a channel.
Yeah, I mean it's pretty good idea.
It's all right, and I know that we've got links to labels and stuff like that, which is why I kind of like thought it'd work hand in hand.
That's his, right? He said that on a video. That's his.
Copyright.
When he pops up with that channel, copyright.
And so I came in because Bab was like, email, look, I don't know if we can do this. Come in for some work experience during the summer of my final year of after I'd just finished college, and I knew at this point I didn't really want to go to university, and I was like, okay, sick. So I've got this. I'm now going to basically make everyone like me. So it's hard to let me go. That's what I did. And then Dave Jackson, there was one time in a studio, we were fixing the studio, and we were just having a long conversation. He was asking, like he was just asking about stuff about me. And that's where I probably got to like know Jacko, and that's probably like the bond began. And he said to me, I actually say this in Agony Uncles, he says to me, make it harder for me to let you go than to get, make it harder for me to let you go than to give you a job. And like that stuck with me. I was just like, yeah, I'm basically going to make it like. So then I was like, yeah, I'll do this, I'll stay behind and I'll do these live streams, I'll do this. I tried to become a
Make yourself indispensable.
Yeah, literally that. And that's what it was. After about 3 months, got offered a job the day before my birthday.
Cool. That was me and Jacko.
Yeah, it was good.
Me and Jacko sat him down in a room and said, we're going to offer you a full-time contract. And he said, oh, thank God for that. We went, why? He went, well, because I quit WH Smith yesterday. He was like, oh, bloody hell, all right. It was a good time.
I was doing, because I was still, for the longest time, so during that work experience, and even a bit after when I started getting paid, I was living with my nan Monday to Friday, driving them back to Gatwick. To Gatwick to work on Saturdays.
Ethic, that's work.
And then back up on Sunday.
That's what it takes.
Look, I'd do it all over again. Like you're in a mad position now where you can't really complain.
That's what it takes. Yeah, man. Go out and get it.
Done well.
So next time you call me,
a case in argument of just putting the work in and also taking a risk. You try and do that with the way you got in.
Also, rejection. We'll get onto that later. But I got rejected from other places many times of people just being like, look, we've got no time for a meeting, we've got no work experience, we've got this. And I'd just be like, all right, cool, next email. Yeah. I actually remember missing a few parties just so I could send emails.
That's my guy still.
And legit. Good. And I was like, oh, God.
Making up for it now, though, isn't it?
Exactly. At the bigger parties, isn't it?
Social media.
That was embarrassing.
It's mad though, like, when I look at it, you must find it as well. Like, sometimes I look at it and then, like, obviously, like, I talk to my mates and they're always like back still at like home and stuff like this. I'm just like, I'm so happy I'm not there. Yeah, man. Because like,
again, you're from quite a way out though, aren't you?
Yeah. That's the thing. But like, I always do like I lived somewhere and then I went to school in like another town, like quite a posh town to be honest. And like, I look at like what some of my mates are doing. Like I get DM'd from my mates all the time, be like, oh, like I respect this, like we should go for a beer. I'm just like, yeah, cool, let's do that. Because I'm more than happy to go for a beer for someone, but if they're just like, can you promote this, can you promote that? I'm just like,
yeah, bro, I've had a lot of that.
Yeah, it's just like, look, don't get me wrong, I respect that you're doing something, and I'm more than happy to like help you out in other ways. But like, I'll be honest about a story of me going, check out this, isn't going to do much.
Yeah,
but saying that at the same time, you do get people that just, like friends from school and stuff, that just hit you up and are supporting.
Yeah, no, this is exactly it.
I've got friends from school that like now I chat to kind of regularly, who are always messaging about videos they've watched, balls up or whatever, who I hadn't spoke to before that since we was at school. And they're not doing it out of any, can I get something or whatever. It's just people see you doing something and want to say like, it's good to see you progress and do well.
I've had a lot of people though from when I was like in school or at college like reach out to me like, oh, can you promote this?
Yeah, that's what I've had.
Like,
you're going to get a bit of it. You're always going to get a bit of it. I've had one or two of them.
Yeah. How do you respond?
I just very politely say no. It's not something I like feel comfortable doing effectively. Yeah. So I'm not going to be able to do it.
No, 100%.
But it'd be great to meet up for a beer or whatever.
Yeah, we can talk about it.
It's just like, okay.
Clearly
your motive was one thing.
I'm more than happy to help in terms of like, if you think I know someone that can help you, I'm more than happy to give you their email or get you in touch with someone. Like that's fine. But like me legit going, like, can you put this in Football Daily story? It's like, that's one, out of my control. Two, probably not right. And three, like, don't just like come to me just for that. Like, let's at least talk. Like literally I got a text a couple of days ago from a mate I haven't spoken to in like 2 years, and he was like, I love what you're doing, let's go for like just a drink and that and just catch up. Which is like sick. That's cool.
That's it. Then when you get there, he's gonna be like, can you do this story for me?
Yeah, and then I'm like, fuck, great, okay, cool.
I got shout out Mac, my mate Mac from uni. I got chased down the street a couple of weeks ago. I told you this by a friend of mine from uni. I haven't seen since university at all, and it's proper weird because I remembered that I told you this, that there was a comment on an Agony Uncles video, one of our videos ages ago, from someone saying like, absolutely love these videos, and it was my mate from uni, and I was like, how weird's this? Like, he hasn't even told me he's watching, he's just commented on the video. And then I'm walking down the street, I'd literally just left you, we was leaving here late one night, someone runs up and grabs me, and when I turn around it's him, and I end up stood there for like half an hour, like I missed a train in my head thinking, I'm happy to do this, I'll get another one.
100%.
We was just chatting for ages, and like we're gonna meet up at some point soon to go get a drink or whatever. And he's working he works at Boiler Room, so it's just like, it's just when you're both doing stuff.
Tell him to get me some tickets.
No, see, this is it.
I'm not gonna be hitting it up going, oh, can I get some stuff out of it? But you never know, like we'll go for a drink, and it's just cool to catch up and see people doing well.
How have you found, obviously like, you said someone like chased after you when meeting fans?
I've only met one.
No, you've had a few. Mills got something.
Mills had someone,
Mills did have someone stop him.
I had one other one though, which was a weird one, which was just, it was really odd. I actually, when I think about it, I actually don't even think it was me. I think they thought I was someone else, which was just that like a mum came up to me in Leicester Square one day. I was walking home from the gym.
A mum?
Yeah, like she was like Portuguese or Spanish.
Oh yeah.
And she came up to me, and because her English was sort of better, I don't know, I can't remember, like she just sort of come up to me, like tapped me on the shoulder and like pointed at her son, and her son was like this sort of like 11, 12-year-old kid, and she said something like, oh, he watches your videos or something, and I just sort of went, oh, you're right, mate, like went up and sort of shook his hand, and when I walked, I was like, I don't know if it was, because we'd only been going like 6 months at this point.
Maybe.
So, but I didn't know. But it was nice. I like shook his hand and like tried to speak to him. But it's funny. He was watching our video supposedly, but he didn't have much English. So it was like
there was a lad at Paddington on Friday. I was going back to Gloucester for Dave's wedding, which we'll probably talk about later. And lad comes up to me and he's like watching VFN on his phone.
Oh my
God.
That's quality.
And he's like, yeah, it's mad.
I'll tell you.
I still find it so weird though.
I'll tell you one story. Not so much about a fan, but in terms of someone seeing us on something, right?
Yeah,
I think I might have told you this before, but I'll tell you about when my cousin found out about it.
No.
So this is wicked. It's so weird. So basically, when we first started doing Balls Up, started putting on videos. Obviously, I showed it to my mum and my dad and my brother. But in my family is very close. I've got a very, very big family. My mum and dad have both got lots of brothers and sisters.
Yeah.
But news travels fast around it, so you can't fart in my household without everyone knowing in 10 minutes. So I went down and I said to my mum, I was like, look, I'm doing this, showed her the stuff, whatever, they liked it, but I was like, can you just do me a favour? Let's not tell everyone about this right away, because I want to get a bit more comfortable with doing it before everyone starts knowing. She goes, okay, cool, she won't tell anyone. So I leave it like a couple of days, and I wake up that Saturday, and my uncle John has texted me saying, just saw you on YouTube, really love the videos, like you're doing really well. So I was livid, because I was like, Mum, like, what are you playing at? So I go downstairs, and I was like, because there's no other way to find it, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I said to her, I went, Mum, like, have you told anyone? She was like, no, I haven't told anyone. I said, but John's just texted me saying, he's just watched me on YouTube. She was like, I have no idea, and I could tell straight away. I went down to be angry with her, but I could tell it weren't her. So I was like, right, okay. She went, I'm going over there tomorrow, I'll ask. So I was like, okay, cool. She goes round there. When she comes back, she says, this is crazy. She says, so my cousin Cassie is on her train home from work one day. And she listens to YouTube videos on her phone, but doesn't watch them. She puts them in her pocket when she's on her train home.
Yeah.
And obviously YouTube has an autoplay function, or just whatever it does. Yeah. So she's on the train, full of people, train's going along, and she hears my voice talking. And she's like, pulls her earphones out, and it's like, Dave's on my train, like, where is he? He's looking around, can't see me anywhere. She goes, like, I must have misheard it. Puts it back in and goes, I can hear him again. Pulls her phone out to pause it, to listen. When she pulls her phone out, I'm staring back at her, hosting a quiz.
That's so good.
And she was like, what is going on? That was the moment. So she walked into her house and was like, Dave's on YouTube, and then put it on the TV, and they all sat around and watched it, and that's how they found it.
That's
so proper weird, isn't
that's
it?
That's sick.
That's mad.
Yeah,
that's
crazy.
mad.
There was a moment yesterday when I was on a shoot where
he was doing some modelling for
doing a bit of modelling.
Big up
Giacomo.
The dad
quality.
Shout out Giacomo.
Yes,
supplied me.
This is a free plug, but next one, you know,
money in it.
Yeah, they gave me this little number.
I was going to say them in the
and
shoes
one
as
of
well.
them as well.
What's
Do you know what
going on?
I'm actually well not as too young, if I got that.
Yeah, mad. So this woman who, I believe her name's Esme, she's like, I don't know what her role is, but she's high up and she was doing the dealings yesterday with everything. She comes into the green room, she's like, oh, I absolutely love Agony Uncles. I'm like, sorry, what? What do you mean? That's other than the noose, that's like the only other time anyone's ever said.
That's wicked. Mills got stopped on the street the other day.
He did, and then Mills took a photo with the kid on his own phone and then posted it as if the kid had posted a photo with him. It was totally bizarre. And I was like, has this kid posted this, or has Millard had actually posted it?
I still find it, like, I don't know what to do. Because like people come up like they know so much more about you than you know about them. Like they'll be like, oh, I'm this, and that's all you know. Whereas they know like your name, obviously, like what you support.
Shout out Anoush. One of the first things Anoush said to me in Leeds is he was like, "How's your dad's stalls going?" I was like,
that's
what?
That's
like, I just didn't even think that people know this stuff.
It's mad.
But this is it. It's crazy. I'm just like, I don't know what to say apart from, you know, you're right. Like, I don't know what conversation to bring up apart from. So, what's your favourite Football Daily video?
Yeah.
You know? Did you enjoy the one with the drone? That's all good. But I can remember the first time it happened.
It is with it. What do you say?
Yeah. So what do we do? I remember the first one was that my brother's football game. That was quite
Oh,
cool.
but you felt like a don, didn't you?
Was your brother there?
Yeah, both of them were playing. And then they saw it and they was like, oh, this is sick. I remember once, there was another time where I played in a charity game for my little brother's football team. And a bunch of the kids recognised me. And then one of the kids, after the game, like I'd gone home and everything, one of the kids, his dad, had spoken to his dad about me. So his dad, at the next time that the training happened, spoke to my dad. All about like, oh, so his son does YouTube and all this, oh, that's so cool. Like talking to my dad. And my dad sent me the most proud text I've ever received in my life. And she's like, oh, you're smashing it and stuff like this.
That's wicked.
And I was just like, oh yeah.
Shout out Larson.
Especially considering like when my mum first found out I wanted to go into YouTube, she was like, what? That isn't happening.
What were your parents' thoughts on it when you first got into YouTube?
They weren't. I'll be honest. They weren't actually too bad. But like, my mum was like, okay, like give him like 3 months, he'll move on.
Yeah.
And my dad was just like, what do you mean you can make money off of YouTube?
Yeah.
It's like, I watch videos in Arabic on there and that's it. But like, yeah, and then like once obviously I started earning money from them, they were happy, they saw I was happy with it, they were good. And then like I moved to London and they were like, oh, okay, actually you can actually make a career out of this.
That's decent.
It's weird, I think like, I can't remember it, but it'd be so weird if we could just get him when he came in, when he first started back in the room. Because I imagine that
you were so much more innocent, bro. I actually got a few photos up on my phone the other day.
You have grown up so much in the short space of time.
You know what I saw the photo of? Us in Siobhan from the swimming.
Yeah.
And
oh, God,
I look so young in that.
Bro, there's a few photos on my phone, like, your hair is like all over the gaff. You've got like big, chunky specs on. Like you've got no shape up on your chin. Like you're
no beard.
No beard. Like mad garments on.
Like,
honestly, like these crazy like baggy jeans.
Like, I joined legit as still basically a kid from college, man.
Yeah.
Like that's what all I knew. That was what the college stuff was.
Me and Zach's path is pretty similar.
Yeah, it is, isn't it?
It is quite similar.
There he is.
Look at that.
We'll try and get that on screen for you. That is a madness.
How did you get your break into the editing world?
So essentially,
you were young, man.
Yeah, I was young, man. Essentially, I had a friend who worked for S&V, which is Sunset and Vine, like ages ago, with Helena, who was our old boss.
She was wicked.
She was really she's my TV mum. I call her. She's wicked. Anyway, so I had a friend who worked with her, and I'd obviously like not failed my ASs, but not done well. And I was like, this education thing is long. I just want to start working. So I got in contact with her, and she was like, I can get you some work experience for like a week. I was like, yeah, it's better than nothing, innit? A week, cool. So I went there for a week, and it's like you say, you want to make yourself indispensable. If you're expendable, then they're just going to get rid of you. So I'm in there, and I'm like doing everything. What, you want a tea, yeah? Boom. Like anything they wanted to do.
Where was your week? It wasn't with us, was it?
Yeah,
was it on Olympic?
September.
Did you already know how to edit at that stage? No editing skills at all?
No, it's exactly the same as you. So I went in.
That's weird, I don't remember that.
So I went in, and the first week I remember being there, and like I sat down, and what you have to realise about where I was going is way more corporate, as it were, than where we're working now. So like I'm going in there, and I'm like, this is mad. Like you've got Jeff Fowler in the corner, who's like the chairman of Sunset and Vine, and he's like big business in television.
Yeah.
And you've got like just people milling about who you're like, this is a madness. So I'm like sitting there, I'm like, I've got to smash. If I don't smash this, then I don't know what I'm gonna do. I had applied for a car phone warehouse job like the week before, and I had my fingers crossed about that rather than this. You know what I'm saying? So just working, and then she was like, oh, we need you for another week. Oh yeah, we need you for another week. And it just kept rolling on. And then it got to the point where it was like, we're just gonna put you on like a month's contract.
Yeah, the earliest point I remember of you of that is a conversation, you weren't in the room, but having a conversation with them, and like Andy and that was there, where they were talking about how we can't keep just putting Sav on 1 week things, but we need to keep Sav around more. So they were trying to work out how do we get like a long-term or position or even like a long-term work experience.
So how did you learn to edit? Because obviously you don't realise, guys at home, but Sav is like our main editor, obviously. You probably do know, actually, on Balls Up, more so than you would on Football Daily. But Sav's our main editor, obviously. We've got the Myth as well behind the scenes, and we've got Georgia as well. Yeah. But Sav is kind of kingpin editor. How did you learn to edit?
So after I'd done like maybe 3 months in total at S&V, they said we can't keep you on because we just don't have the capacity for you. We also don't have that much work for you to do all of the time. So we're going to let you go. But you should go and talk to so-and-so about doing some running at BT Sport. So I went over to BT Sport for a bit, did some running, and about 6 months later, the same woman, Helena, called me and said, we need you back in here, but we need you on more of a researcher type of thing. And as a researcher, you've got to be able to do scripting and also edit a little bit. So I thought it's a wicked opportunity, obviously. At that time, I'm just making like tea for Ian Wright. It's wicked, but I'm not doing anything. Do you know what I'm saying? So
your family's got a lot of background in media stuff as well, isn't it?
yeah, but more advertising.
Right.
So like, I thought that was my first initial thing, what I wanted to do. I wanted to go into advertising. Like as soon as I finished GCSEs, I was like, don't want nothing to do with A-levels. I want to go straight into advertising. And it just felt like a natural fit. My mum was in advertising. Like my grandma was the first female copywriter in the UK.
Smashed it.
Like
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Where?
Like, what company?
Yeah. What? When you say copywriter, do you mean like advertising copywriter?
So like of her type, that she was the first. What was the agency? My mum did tell me this. I'm not going to be able to remember it, but she was the first. Sonia Berry, shout out.
Big up,
Sonia.
Sonia.
First female copywriter in the UK, and also my granddad was creative director for Ogilvy and was like one of the first founding members of that, which is basically like one of the biggest. In fact, you know Mad Men. So he was a madman essentially. He used to work as an advertiser in Madison. Is it Madison?
Madison Avenue.
That's it. Yeah.
That's what it was named after. Yeah.
He lived there for a bit and
I think it
everything.
was Madison
Had a
Avenue.
mad yard out there. I wish I went there.
That's mad.
Yeah, I know.
It was Don Draper.
Don Draper. But that's the thing, because I used to like go downstairs. My mum would be watching Mad Men, and she'd be saying, "I don't think you understand, Sab. Like they've smashed this. This is exactly how it was during that period of time."
Yeah.
So anyway, go back to the thing. I'm sort of at that time 18. I've come back now, and I was like, right, we want you editing. We want you learning cameras. We want you editing. But at that time, you couldn't even shoot in 4K. So like, I was learning on like 5Ds.
Broadcast.
Yeah. So it's 5D like Canon cameras, and learning on Final Cut 7. So that's where I first like started editing a little bit. And shout out Andy and Dom and Jose. They always like helped me out with that and like going forward with
Sam
the cameras as well.
Sam there around that time?
Sam had left before I come back.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I know. I went away on a little hiatus. But yeah, man, I think editing, if you're ever trying to get into media, and I get a lot of messages about this all the time in the DMs, if you're trying to get into into media, like one of the best things you can have under your belt is the ability to edit. It's probably the thing that's got me where I am now. If I didn't know how to edit, I wouldn't have got the job at DV, and I wouldn't have started working with these lot. So it's a really, really useful tool.
Yeah, 100%. I did the exact same at university. Mine was Final Cut as well. I started learning on Final Cut. I don't know whatever anybody watching this is editing at the moment, but it doesn't really matter what you're editing on. Final Cut was the exact same for me. I was also editing on I was on Final Cut Pro when I was at university.
That's what we used to run on here, though.
Yeah, we used to run Final Cut Pro, and then it kind of became industry standard Premiere. I think in America they're using Avid more, but we use Premiere here in the UK pretty heavily in media, and it's so much more user-friendly than Final Cut.
Yeah,
it's crazy amounts more.
I was thinking about this the other day, and you used to have to factor in time for encoding your footage, whereas now it's like you just chuck whatever it is you want into your timeline, and it doesn't mean anything. It could be in any codec, whereas before you'd have to like you'd import your ProRes files, and then you'd have to. Do you know what I'm saying? You couldn't edit in MP4s. It was all ProRes.
You had to,
it's also a lot easier to learn, I find.
What,
like,
Premiere?
Yeah, there have been people like who've joined FD who
pick it up quickly.
Never even heard of it. Like same like me.
Yeah.
Like never heard of it. And I literally remember the first video I edited. FootballDaily wise, I did Facebook stuff as well, but I also like the first ever time I touched Premiere was to do a Euro FootballDaily Euro roundup.
Oh really?
And like it's so like it's literally once you find out the basics, you can then find out everything else eventually when you're trying like trial
play
and error.
around,
And literally like trial and error is like one of the best ways to learn.
Yeah, the best thing about Premiere as well is because Photoshop and After Effects are all linked within it. It's so user friendly in terms of once you understand one, you understand them all. Like all of the shortcuts are pretty similar. All the layering is the same. Every export's pretty much the same. It's just simple.
And because everyone's using it, if you don't understand something, all you have to do is go on YouTube, and there's like thousands of tutorials as to how to do something.
It's so often that you'll see someone around our office watch, even now, they've got full-time jobs, they're working editing. But you'll go past their computer and they're just watching tutorials on how do I, like one thing's popped up they want to do and they just go figure it out.
Kieran Carlin is a class editor.
He's wicked at it.
And he's learned everything he knows from YouTube videos, from YouTube tutorials.
Never done
and like, that's another thing I say, if you in editing, if you can give your own like kind of style, which he has, like that'll take you wherever you want to go.
His style is wicked, Kieran. I remember I first ever started editing videos when I was like 14,
don't
14,
even
15,
bring that up, mate.
when I used to make Call of Duty montages.
Yeah.
And do you remember MW2?
Yeah.
It was like quick
scopes and that.
quick
Rust.
scopes. I had like a capture card, and I used to buy my friend's capture card and make 360 no-scope montages and like FIFA.
That's wicked.
Skill.
Yeah. Skill compilations.
We found that. It's deleted
and
now.
it's gone now.
But
it was.
It's gone now.
Yeah,
and it's commentary over the top.
No, it wasn't commentary. It was like crescendo into like dubstep. Yeah. You know, like it was like, it's like screen goes green and shakes. It's like just like a 360 no scope cross.
Those videos were everywhere, weren't they?
They were the best, and I got that. So I started making YouTube videos. I didn't have very many subscribers, and then I started making on Photoshop and. Not Paint, but there was like a cheap equivalent of Photoshop you could get.
Pixlr.
No, it wasn't Pixlr.
I remember
But I used to make headers and logos and graphics packs for YouTubers. So like Syndicate, all those kind of people, like pretty big YouTubers now. Like Matt HD Gamers, like all of those boys back in the day when I was like really young, and they were tiny, like 10,000 subscribers, and I had like 800.
But back then, 10,000 was a lot.
I would be able to like make them a better header than they currently had. That's how. Like,
so you actually made them for them?
Yeah, and then
gave them to them.
Gave them to them, and then they were like, "Oh, thanks." I didn't get paid on nothing. I
Yeah,
just
but
used to make it.
I actually find Photoshop can be really relaxing. Like there are times when I've had to make a thumbnail, and they're like, it will just calm me down. Like, I find it really therapeutic.
I'm the same with Photoshop. To make that point, I don't edit. I'm the only one out of us four sitting here that I don't. No,
no, but you could, if you wanted to.
You could easily.
No, the thing is, I
make
know
thumbnails and stuff.
If you sat me in front of Premiere, I could cut a video. Yeah, I could quite easily cut a video. I know enough of it to do that. But it's like anything I could do on Premiere, you could have someone do it in 10% of the time. So there's no point me doing it. But Photoshop used to be my forte. Especially in my early days. I remember teaching you
cutting
Photoshop,
out the head, stuff like
that. And it's the weirdest thing with Photoshop is everyone kind of uses it in different ways.
Yeah.
Everyone has their own methods.
Like, it's
to
so true.
Yeah.
It's like 4 ways.
And how you brush off edges and stuff. Like everyone's got their own ways of doing it. And I see it's weird. It's stuff that I find for me is like, oh, I'll just do that because that's the easy way I want to do it. Yeah. It's so long-winded. Like I will just to not have to brush up the side of someone's face here, I will entirely recreate the background. Because I can do that in 5 minutes. Yeah. But tidying up here is going to take me 20.
It's funny though, isn't it?
Yeah, but I think like Photoshop is like that, especially when my job used to be, especially when we were working on the Olympics, when my job used to be so many videos, because when we first took on the Olympics job, they had, I think, over 5,000 assets on the channel in terms of videos, and everything was a mess. Everything needed to be tidied up, cleaned up, whatever. We killed it on that. Like that job, we absolutely smashed it. I've got the stats.
We doubled their subs, didn't we?
The stats, but the stats have increased. First 3 months we had that project. When you take into account, the first 9 months. When you consider that the 9 months previous to us were the 9 months including and following London 2012. Yeah. And then we took it on after that. We increased stuff by like.
Yeah, in 2013.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we came in
that's
just
when I
after
joined.
London.
I joined after the Olympics, but we doubled it. Like outside of Olympic year.
But even views and retention and things like that was more than double. It was like the percentage increase was absolutely
as far as
the Bolt video is you, isn't it? Like you did the Bolt video.
Yeah, my crowning joy is if you go on the Olympics YouTube channel.
I know exactly what video he's going to say.
I'll find it for you. I'll tell you, go and guess it.
It's the NBA video, isn't it? Yeah, of course it is.
So basically, it's all just how things pop up, like how you remember them. But when I was first working on the channel, we had to take everything they already had and tidy it up or whatever. So I was unemployed when the London Olympics were on. So I was working market stalls for my dad. So I was watching it a lot. And I'm just going to find it to see what it's on now. But so basically, bang, there you go. I remember watching the USA versus Nigeria basketball game at the London 2012 Olympics. I was writing for my blog, on like facing my wall here, and my TV behind me had it on. So I was like watching the whole time. And it was like that US team had Kobe in it, LeBron, everyone. It was huge. Yeah. Carmelo Anthony, everything.
Westbrook.
So then when I get this job and I'm going through all these videos, I find this video. The Olympics has been and gone, and it's had 9 months since. And this video has done it was either 410,000 views or 140,000 views. It wasn't a lot considering what it was. So I was like, looked at it, I was like, I think it's 140k for the full match as well. And the USA broke the Olympic points record scored in a game in that game. So I went on, made a new thumbnail, because the thumbnail was just a shot from the game. I was like, right, that's got to be LeBron. It's changed now, whoever's on it. But it's got to be LeBron. Put him as the thing. Went into the tags, and I went mad in the tags. Like, every player, every team they play for, everything I could think of. I would literally... And this was back in the day where you could put double the amount of tags you can put now. So I went mad, proper did it. And then I used the description, because metadata also used to carry into a description. So I would use stuff I couldn't find in the tags would drift into what I could get into there. Did the whole thing. That video is now on 22 million views. But it went to like, I think it went to 8.5 million in 6 months. So it had 9 months since London 2012 and done a couple of 6 figures. And then it went to that. And that was always like, we did the Bolt video, cleaned it up, and it doubled its views. And everything was huge. But that was the one for me that was like, that video shows that if you know what you're doing and you've paid attention to the content enough that you know what you're working with, you can turn it around still. That's like my crown. That's my crowning moment. I think that video's increase might be the first line of my CV. It says something mad, like I increased Olympic views by like 800% in the first 6 months or something. So I think it is 800%, I'm pretty sure that's right.
So going on to CVs, right, I hadn't actually ever written a CV until I came to Diagonal View.
Mate, no one
so I didn't have a CV to start.
No one looked
at my
CV.
I said to you, send me, I said, he said to me about if we had any jobs going. I went, cool. I said, I just need a CV and a show reel. And you messaged me back and went, what's the show reel?
I hadn't got either of them at the time. So
we spoke to David, didn't we?
Yeah. I think it was, it was a Friday. No, it was a Thursday that I had emailed you on. You got back to me on the Friday and said I need a...
You text me.
So it was a... So you got back to me on a Friday saying, if you can get a show reel to me by Monday and a CV to me today. I was like, yeah, cool. So I was like, number one, I don't have Premiere in my house. So I've got to go to work, go back to my old offices and get like some of the stuff I'd done. Then go home.
And you weren't working then?
I wasn't working.
So we spoke to our old boss and he like...
I was like, oh, can I like come and get some old edits and stuff? And he was like, yeah. So I made this dead show reel. It was so dead. Over like a
I
weekend.
wish I could find that now. I'll find it somewhere.
So dead. Like looking at it now, I was like, oh my God, how did I even get the job? Anyway, sent it to him. He was like, yeah, it's cool, whatever. And then you made a point of not letting my CV go to somebody in the company, who he actually ended up with anyway.
I played interference on Sav's naming their names.
Terrible.
But no. Because so I went down and basically said, like, I've got this guy, he'd be wicked, like, you should get me for an editor. Are we looking? And our edit guys at the time, like Stu, who used to run the post-production, said to me, look, we're looking, but we're looking for someone more experienced, we're not looking for juniors. And I said, I understand what you're saying, but I've worked with this kid for a few years now. If you just put a year into him, he'll be better than most 30-year-olds you got. You just got. He's 75% there. He just needs that last bit to be like, because you come from a TV.
Were you being kind?
Even no. Honestly,
I was good, man.
I'll say this. I think I've said this before in videos, and this might sound harsh, but it's my personal opinion. I've had a lot of people ask me to get them jobs over the years. I never do it. I never ever. He is the one person I've ever put forward for a job.
Makes you feel fuzzy.
The reason for it is because I always find that, and this isn't knocking people, but it's just that person could be here for 5 years. If they F up, the eyes always go back on you as the person that brought me in. I've seen it happen to other people. And I don't like the idea that I've got enough stress dealing with my own crap. I don't want to have to always feel like I'm babysitting someone else in and around the company. But with Sav, it was like, especially when as well, I've met the kid from when he's first started working, and along with that as well, he's a good mate. I looked at him and was like, well, I don't see him messing this up. The only thing you needed was the slight, and it was almost balls up was your ability to do it, but the slight change from coming from a company that was making YouTube content, but from a TV perspective, to looking at it more from a how do I make this YouTube-y? Do you know what I mean?
There's like a huge difference, I can't stress this enough, between working for the Olympics and such a huge machine like that to going and working on an in-house channel. There's like, you have to change your mindset completely. Like it's like such a U-turn. So like coming in and working on this thing that we had going at the time, I was like, all right, cool, this is cool, whatever. And I was putting my own spin on it, but it didn't like click straight away. I needed like a good like 4 or 5 months to get my head into into YouTube. Because even though I was working on YouTube before, it wasn't, like you said, it wasn't YouTube. It was like, we were essentially making banging VTs and then putting them on YouTube. That's what we was doing.
Pretty much. We were making like TV features, weren't we?
Exactly. And it was fun, and like you got to travel the world with it, and it was a flipping good job, but it didn't set me up for digital. It wasn't, even though it was digital, it's really different.
Really different. I remember when I first came to the company we work for, my background had been in script writing for magazines, and it was John Babb was the person who taught me how to write for video as opposed to writing for a magazine.
It's crazy.
Both things are listed as script writing.
Script writing, yeah, man.
But when you sat down and did it, completely different worlds. I mean, you can apply the basics, but the basics really, if you're doing that, don't really go much further than grammar. Do you know what I mean? Tone is a whole new thing to learn.
We've had people come in on work experience before and write a script, a good script at that, but it's in the tone of like a magazine. And they if you don't go to it upstairs for us to present, it's next to impossible.
Such a good tip for like if you're anybody at home is trying to write a script for video, is like as you're writing. So I don't write as many scripts for YouTube anymore, but I write quite a few for radio now. And as you're writing, read it, because if you're reading as you're writing, you'll write as if you're speaking. That's what you need to do. You need to write as if you're speaking.
You have to make sure it works verbally.
I find sometimes when I'm writing, I'm literally saying it out loud as I'm doing it. And like Michael just hit me and be like, "What are you doing? Stop."
But I do that. If I write scripts, I must have a presenter voice in my head. I hear it now. Anything I write, I don't write scripts so much anymore. I wrote my last one. I did a little side thing that Mills needed done a couple of weeks ago for a friend of his, and I realised as soon as I was writing it, I just go back into. I hear myself as a VO. As I'm doing it, as I write everything, it now just naturally comes to. I'm in VO mode. I couldn't really write a magazine piece anymore. No, it would take me time to get used to it.
What was your you did journalism, sports journalism. How did you find using that in what you're doing now? Like, what was it? Because obviously it's different writing as a journalist than as it is to write.
Your first role was the website.
Yeah, so I did sports journalism at university, and the good thing about the course I did, which I don't think every course in the country does, is that it did broadcast, radio, and written.
Right.
So it covered the whole spectrum. I think there's a lot of courses. Like I nearly took one course as well at Bournemouth that was like written or print journalism, and that would have been the biggest mistake I could have made.
I knew people did that.
Print journalism is dead, gone into the dust. In 5 years' time, that won't even exist anymore. So the good thing was that I learned more on my editing skills. I could already do basic edits in Photoshop, but they taught me quite in-depth Final Cut knowledge, which is transferable into Premiere effectively if you're not an idiot. They taught me basic audition knowledge and how to produce a radio show, which is pretty useful now. And they taught me writing for magazines, scripts and newspapers. So my skills were all pretty transferable. But when I first got a job here, I applied. It's like an internship in central London. It was on like 14k in central London, which is an absolute disgrace. It's like below living wage, it's like barely even minimum wage for some of the hours I was working. I was doing like 9 nines, and I was commuting from Southampton. So it was like a good hour and a half commute. I was working on the train.
Still a cocky little shit.
Like absolute joke. So when I first got the job here, I was writing for FootballDaily's website. Now this is something that doesn't exist anymore, but effectively it was a project that was given to me by the same CEO who's like, get this website up, see what you can do with it. So I got the website, took it over, redesigned it, got a graphic designer to redesign it, started to work with a social media guy to push it through a feed. I think I got it up to like 1 million impressions a week, something like that, which was pretty big. For
Jackson was your boss, wasn't he?
Yeah, Dave was my boss at the time. And that was not too bad, but effectively what happens within website advertising is you're either smashing it and doing 50 million impressions a day, or you're not making any money. So we didn't make any money, but because I had skills...
So we didn't make any money.
So because I had skills within editing, I was able to move just straight into editing, and obviously I worked pretty hard. I was doing like 9 days working on trains. Like I got my first ever, I remember vividly, my first ever like journalistic scoop.
I know this exact story.
On a train from... London to Southampton. Right? My first ever journalistic scoop.
You're going home?
So I'm going home from Diagonal View. I'll get on at Waterloo at probably like, I don't know, 8, half 8 at night. It's late ones. I was working long hours. And it's an hour and a half train back. And I sit down in my seat. And you know, on English trains, it's in aisles of 2 seats next to each other all the way down. And I'm sat on the outside seat. And on the inside seat in front of me, there's a lad and he's wearing a Southampton tracksuit.
Right.
And I'm going back to Southampton, that's where I went to university. And you can see on the British rail system, through the seats, and you can see what they're doing. And that bloke had a laptop set up. And I'm thinking, oh, look,
I've not heard this story.
Southampton guy.
I just remembered it.
And he's wearing a tracksuit. He's like in a pretty decent position. They're a good team at this stage, Southampton. They're in the Premier League. I can't remember who the manager was. I think it might have been Coman.
Oh, okay.
I think it was Coman. And he's typing up medical notes, and I'm thinking, fucking hell, like,
are you sure it wasn't Poch?
It might have been Poch, but I think it was.
I feel like you joined a while back.
I don't know. I think it might have been Coman, but it might have been Poch. It was one of the two. I can't remember exactly who it was in the end. But he sat there and he's typing up medical notes, and he's like in-depth notes. They're not just basic notes like this guy can jump X. This is like small tear to right bilateral quadriceps, all this kind of nonsense. When he was 15, age 17, small tear to lower abductor in the right hand side under rib cage. And I'm like, hell, what is this guy doing? And I'm thinking, so at this stage, I'm basically like peering through these seats, like, what is happening here? Because I'm working at FootballDaily at this stage. And then he goes, and then he's like obviously scrolling through this like 15-page slide PowerPoint, and he gets to slide 1, and it's Geordie Classy. Do you know the Feyenoord midfielder? And it's
Netherlands.
Yeah. And it says at the top, it says Southampton FC full medical notes. So they hadn't at this stage signed Geordie Classy.
So it must be Koeman.
I think it was. I think that's why it was Koeman, and they hadn't signed him. So I'm like, oh my god, I've got to scoop Southampton Geordie Classy. So
sorry, legit.
I was like, oh my god, like I've seen the medical notes. I've got his whole medical history. So I'm tweeting. I'm going Geordie Classy, confirmed right knee problem, and like I'm like Southampton fans, Geordie Classy signed. Southampton fans are battering me like, we haven't signed Classy. That move's not happening. He's never been injured. I'm like, I'm telling you, get home. I'm like bashing this article out on FootballDaily's website. Get it up. Literally 10 minutes later, it's like Southampton are really proud to announce the signing of Geordie Classy, and I was like, my first scoop was sat behind Southampton FC training, and it was so funny, man. The slide breakdown. The slide breakdown was hilarious. It's literally like they were like categorising players. They had like their team, and it was like categorisation of players, and it was like Geordie Classy. It was at the top, and then it was like predicted level, and his level was like tier 2. So like tier 1 was really high, tier talent. It was, I think it had James Ward-Prowse in it.
Lambert.
Lambert was gone by then. They were gone by then. But they were like basically their best players. And then it was like Geordie Classy came in as tier 2, and it was like seen as future Netherlands superstar. Was like amongst the second thing. That never happened, did it? So not the best scouting, but that was like my first ever journalistic scoop.
Mad. That's a wicked story.
Like Southampton,
That is a mad story.
Shame he turned out to be utter rubbish, and now I think he's playing back in the Netherlands, which is not good enough.
I've got one scoop, but I can't say it on camera.
Yeah?
No, legit. Like,
a journalistic scoop?
I can't say anything about it, but I'll tell you after.
While he's saying that, I was thinking, I've got one.
Go on, what's your
you know mine, and you know I can't say it.
You know his.
You know mine.
I do know your journalistic scoop. But
I don't know that.
Definitely cannot be said on camera.
I think you probably do know.
You probably do know it, but let's leave it there.
We'll say it after. We'll
remind
you
more about it.
So should we? Obviously, we're coming towards the end now. We haven't done a single news story this week. There was no planning about
it. This has just been sort of like almost a career guide.
I think we'll title this one "How to Become a YouTuber."
Yeah, like that. No, you can't do that because that's isn't that Kieran's latest video? Oh, it's Day in the Life of a YouTuber.
Day in the Life of a YouTuber. It's go and check out Kieran Carlin's channel if you haven't. So if you had to give one piece of advice to someone like probably, let's say they're gonna likely be aged between 13 and 21, that wanted to become a YouTuber or get into this profession.
Yep.
What would it be? DJ, you can start us off, seeing as you're the new fish.
The new fish in the land. I would say...
In the land. In the pond.
In the land. New fish in the land.
Oh, I don't know, man.
It's a difficult one, isn't it?
I guess it's just...
No, it's not just one. If you've got a couple of bits.
Well, I'd say, firstly, like, practice. Like, get into editing. Like I think there are too many people now who look at a video and go, like, I don't need to edit. I can just be the main talent. I can just be this. And especially if you want to make your own YouTube channel, all the big guys were editing their videos. All of them, I can guarantee. Now that they've got 1 million+ subscribers, now they
100%.
can. Now they can get editors.
Every YouTuber edits
need
his
to
own
learn
stuff.
how to edit, and it's honestly so simple. Just typing it into YouTube and doing a how-to guide. Second one, be committed. You can't do this if you're doing a half-assed job. It's not going to work, and people are going to be able to tell. If you're just on screen going, well, this was this week, or like pretending like you don't, and you don't, realistically, that you don't actually care, people are going to be able to tell so quickly. People, like, I think half the reason why people enjoy us on Football Daily and on Balls Up is because we all enjoy what we're doing. We all enjoy answering people's problems. We all enjoy talking about the matches that are upcoming and stuff like that. Yeah. And if you're just going, well, you know, West Ham versus Southampton this week, blah, 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 people aren't going to be interested. If you're not interested in it, people aren't going to be interested in it. Yeah. And that's like a big one, I think. That's even if you're just doing a video like a personality video where you're taking the mick out of this week's news. Again, if you're not interested in that news and you don't think it's funny, no one else is going to think it's funny and no one else is going to think it's interesting. And the other one, collaborations. Seriously, like I know we didn't really mention it here, but like especially if you're making one for yourself, collaborating with other people is like the biggest way. Like they've got access to 30,000 people, you've got access to 30,000 people. Let's say you've got 30,000 subs channel. Do one together. That's literally 30,000 subscribers that have not seen you before and could subscribe to you.
Yeah, 100%. I think just going down a route where you're not going to be doing your own channel. Let's say you don't want to be. Okay, let's say you don't want to be a YouTuber. You just want to work in digital media or something. My top tips are 100% agree with Jalab on practice. Yeah. You can illegally download Premiere. If you find the right tools, go and do it. That's what I do.
There's YouTube videos to do it.
Easy to do. Go and bootleg Adobe Premiere or Final Cut, whatever you want to, or Avid, whatever works.
I think on my home computer I've still got
practice in your practice in your spare time. 100%. That's great advice. Also, don't be afraid to like work and travel long distances. Like even for the first 6 months, if you have to be doing it on £1 a day.
Mate, you'll appreciate so much
that
grind.
That grind is what will,
that grind is what will get you the job. That grind will get you the job.
Because people notice it as well. Trust me. As much as you may think you're just a small fish at the bottom, people, especially within a small company, will notice it so well. Like especially if you're working hard, just staying late, and
a lot of people won't realise, but YouTube channels are owned generally by companies. Yeah. Like we don't own Balls Up, we don't own Football Daily. They're owned by a company. You can identify probably 50 companies in the UK, hundreds if you're watching in the US.
I can tell you right now, there's actually a YouTube platform where they will tell you. That's how I find Ergon View.
Oh really?
Yeah. So if you're a company and you're registered to YouTube, you're on a list.
What is it? Social
so
it's not Social Blade. I can't quite remember.
But on that point, Social Blade does. If you put in a channel's name on to Social Blade, it will tell you the
and then what you can do from there is then go and reach out to that operating channel and say, I want work experience. Reach out to 150 of those, and you're likely to get 1 day of work experience over a summer. Yeah. And you never know where that can go.
100%. That was literally what I did. Literally what I did. And don't be afraid to go to the top.
Yeah, of course not.
Exactly.
Tips? I think for me, the main one is not being afraid to fail, man. I think you've got to understand that nobody is perfect the first time they try and do something. And it's easy to watch like YouTubers and think, man, they're smashing it. But they've probably done 50 takes. Like when you listen to us talk, you can tell that, especially me, these guys are a lot better at it. But when you're listening to me speak, I'm not the clearest with it. I'm not the best at speaking. That doesn't mean I'm not going to still try my best to do it. And we'll get better at it eventually. So I think it's all about making sure that you're fair to yourself, but also never saying no to an opportunity. If you're given an opportunity or somebody says you want to come and do this, just do it, man. Like
always,
just do it. Even if it's something that you're not sure you're going to be comfortable doing, you might end up really enjoying it. I didn't necessarily want to start editing because I was scared I was going to be rubbish at it, but now it's got me to where I am now. So it's like you can't say no to anything that might take you further along in your career down the line. I think that would be my biggest thing, is saying yes to opportunities.
For that? I think one key one, which you've all kind of hinted around, but is to, if you're at uni or whatever else, then do something in your space. So say, it doesn't have to be, like Zach said about doing a YouTube thing, but let's say you want to work in radio, go start your own podcast, or And that sounds like a big deal, but it's actually easy. You can record audio and put it up on sites, and it's fine.
And even if it gets 0 views, it makes no difference.
Doesn't matter.
You can just
really
show it
matter.
to the company and show what you can do.
I'll come on to why it doesn't matter in a minute. But like, say if you're more into journalism, start a blog, start writing about something that you like, because nothing will help you more long run in terms of your longevity in a project than you enjoying what you do. So,
although don't write that, I'm being serious.
No, but just for an example, myself, I was doing radio production at uni, so nothing to do what we do now. But on the side of it, I wrote a blog about trainers. I got a job working for Hypebeast off the back of my blog, not from uni, and then my work at Hypebeast is what got me my job here. The point being is that doing that thing on the side, first of all, it gave me an outlet that wasn't uni work, or if you're not even at uni, it will give you an outlet that's not your job, like, or whatever it is, you know, to go do whatever, to go do something a bit different and it's linked to what you want to do. But also, it gives you a means, like for me, it was nice to be in a position where when I started chancing my arm and emailing magazines that I actually read, I could send them, here's a one link that will give you 30 examples of me writing about something I give a shit about. So I think other things is, this is an interesting one, but wherever possible, work with people that you like. I think that's a key thing. Like,
and it's easier said than done. That I think
100%
we've been very lucky as far as who we have in our working environment. There's not a lot of companies you'll find like Diagonal View. I'm not just saying that because I work here. Do you know what I mean?
But no, but what I mean by that is not saying for people to just take risks, but if you're working somewhere and you honestly feel like it's not fulfilling you in any way, or you're not, motivated by it, whatever.
Don't be afraid to move on. Basically.
Look for what's going to make you happy. Look for what's going to make you enjoy what you're doing, and then try to see if you can make that happen. The one other final thing I would just say, from my experience, is it never hurts to keep good contact with the people that you've met along the way, 100%. And have people that you can drop a line to and just say, you got anything going? Even people that, let's put it this way, so my old bosses at where we used to work, David and Helena, if you look at those two, Helena was the person who told you to get in touch with me about something here. David is the person that gave me, when I came back from travelling and didn't have a job, he kept me going with freelance work for just a short period of time. And not a lot of money, but just to keep you going. But it's those people that you meet along the way that always leave a good relationship. And that's hard with some people, but if you go about things in the right way, hard work never goes unnoticed. So apply yourself and keep going at it. And the one final thing I would leave it on is, like, you'll never regret knocking your bollocks out for something. I don't think you'll ever regret that. Like, when we can moan about the fact that a lot of the time we leave here at midnight, or we leave here at 11 o'clock at night because we're trying to get stuff done or whatever, or I'm going home and then having to sit up writing reports or whatever it is, or trying to figure out what I'm going to do the next day. All of that stuff can get you down, but say like when we're building something for Balls Up or whatever, all of that stuff, if it succeeds or fails, to look back and know that you threw everything you had at trying to make it work, you can never be upset with yourself. And the point is if you go to bed each night with your head held high, can't ask much more than that. And the last thing I want to say about all of this is that the myth did not get brought. We didn't bring the myth in for his first in economics. We brought him in because of what he did outside of his degree and everything that he had accomplished outside of that. Exactly.
And some of that is crazy. Obviously, you can't compete with some of the stuff this kid's doing.
Asia vibes.
I'm talking like mad 50-meter stunt jumps and things that are just going to blow people's minds.
The myth is he's called the myth for a reason. Let's just put it like that. We
don't
want to say too much about him. Don't say too much about him.
Second Dan black belt in Taekwondo.
We don't want to say,
mad.
You're going to bait him out, bro.
But honestly, this kid... It's crazy.
He's mad,
You'll meet him one day, maybe. I don't know.
That's not promising.
Anyway, that's the end of this
last
podcast.
Point, you should probably just do a quick little shout out for Dave.
The wedding.
Yes, quick shout out to Dave Jackson, married successfully, well done.
I think let him talk about it when he's back.
Go and wish
we'll
him
bring
marriage.
him when he's next win. We'll get him on a podcast to talk about it. I think have you lined up next week for the podcast?
Don't say it because there's a very good chance it doesn't happen.
Potentially Olivia Dodd.
Potentially
could well be coming on to talk about
Plus size models.
Plus size models.
I didn't get to talk about my story that I brought.
Sorry, mate. We're wrapping up there. Thanks very much for listening in your ears and watching on YouTube with your eyes. Goodbye.